What's up, demons? It's me, your boy, Icarus. It's nice to meet you. It's my first podfic, and I'm recording this instead of studying because I don't care that I have a ginormous assessment tomorrow. It can wait. Doesn't matter. Anyway, let's get into the first fic. I have approval from the author through their profile. I'll quote what it says. I'm open to any transformative works, including art, podfics, translations, and written work inspired by my fics. Yeah. The author is Rosyredlipstick. Yeah. And I'm pretty sure they have a Tumblr account as well as an AO3. And yeah, let's just get right into it. The rating on this fic is general audiences and no archive warnings apply. The category is M/M. And the fandom is Percy Jackson and the Olympians and related fandoms, all media types. This is part 6 of AU Solangelo fics. For the rest of the tags, you can check out the description or go check out their AO3. Now let's finally get actually into it. Okay, and how does this make you feel? By Rosyredlipstick. Summary. I'm a supervillain and you're a therapist I kidnapped. Because I need someone to talk to, AU. Or, where Hades is the ruling supervillain of the world, and Nico can't really deal with that. But you know who can help him? Dr. William Solace, expert psychologist who may or may not be about to be kidnapped. Chapter 1. I'm not kidnapping you, Nico cleared up, right before he peeled off the duct tape off William Solace's mouth. It's not kidnap if I return you. William licked his lips quickly and gave him a hard, surprised look. What the hell are you doing then? Nico leaned back and tipped his hat forward so it shadowed his face. You're a therapist, right? William stared back at him in disbelief and nodded. Yeah, I guess. Nico sighed in relief. Okay, good. So lately I've been going back and forth on the whole evil versus good thing. Like, everyone expects me to be the bad guy, but I'm so tired. Wait. Will interrupted. Did you kidnap me for a psych evaluation? Yeah. Nico ducked his head. Is that okay? You know that you could have scheduled an appointment, right? Will's voice went up at the end. His voice was starting on hysterical edge, something that Nico didn't really want from his temporary therapist. Nico held up his hands quickly. I'm the son of one of the most powerful supervillains on Earth. Do you think I'm just able to call up a doctor's office and go, no doctor, I've had this bad pain in my arm. My name? Oh, just Nico D'Angelo, direct descendant of Hades. Ruler of evil, Nico scowled. The tabloids alone make that impossible. Thus kidnapping? Will screeched, his wrists still bound. Nico nodded seriously. Thus kidnapping. Will looked at loss for words. You... He blinked and stared at Nico in angry disbelief. Nico gave a short, quick shrug that caused Will to huff and go quiet for a moment. In that moment, he seemed to collect himself, resignation behind it. Asked, how's your relationship with your father? Nico laid back into the wall of the van they were currently camped in. He's a good dad, he really is. He used to help me and my sisters with our homework, and he's always home for dinner. He treats us with respect, but he's also a supervillain. Will nodded. And your sisters? How do they react to your father? He and Hazel have an occasional fight, mostly because Hazel's dating this new guy who's all the good of humankind, or something like that. He and Bianca fought all the time before she ran off to join this all-girls human rights group. Nico pulled his knees and rested his chin. Does the topic of your sister make you uncomfortable? Will observed, shifting in his rope binds. Will must have come to the conclusion that this was, in fact, his life. Nico shrugged and averted his eyes. I guess. Just feels kind of like she abandoned me. Bianca took care of me the most after our mum died, and now I haven't talked to her in years. Bianca and Hazel were never close. She left right before Hades found out that he had another daughter, so they never really got to know each other. Will hummed under his breath, which seemed to prompt more talking out of Nico. And they're both edging on the border of being good, standing in the white light and all. Bianca's out there fighting against Hades every day, and I know Hazel's moving in with Frank, her boyfriend, as soon as she turns 18. And I'm just here, in the middle. Have you expressed these ideas to your father? Nico shook his head sharply. After losing Bianca to the good, she is might as well dead to him. He refuses to talk to her or about her, and he can't stand to think that Hazel and I might feel the same way as Bianca. Will nodded, and Nico had a feeling that if he could, he would be taking notes. Nico appreciated how seriously he was taking this. And how does that make you feel? He waved his hands. I don't know, frustrated, annoyed, trapped. Are you asking me or telling me? Will asked, watching him critically. Nico licked his lips and mulled his thoughts that maybe this wasn't a good idea. Telling, I guess? Will nodded and tipped his head to the side. Do you characterize yourself as a bad guy? Nico hung his head and in a small voice answered, I don't know, maybe. I don't want to, but I've grown up with it. It's all people know as me as. You aren't born evil, Nico, Will tells him gently. It's up to you whether you follow your father's or sister's path. Perhaps you'll pave your own path. But that's it. That is all up to you. I think you should try and reconnect with your sisters. I mean, you've developed a relationship with, evil? Yeah. It isn't that strong, right? Nico rolled his eyes and gave him a look. I'm 18 and I've already kidnapped my first person. My relationship with evil can't be that weak. I'm your first? I'm so flattered. Nico leaned back and groaned, rubbing his heels of his hands deep into his eyes. It was like an intense eye massage. Maybe he should kidnap a masseuse next time. So, reconnect with my sisters? That's what I should do? That is my advice, yes. But only do if you feel completely comfortable in your decision. Also, please let me go. Oh! Nico jumped forward and began untying the ropes around Will's wrist. Yeah, I'll have one of my father's minions or someone drop you off where we got you. Will rubbed his wrist for a second before reaching into his pocket. Nico froze for a second, fearing that he was reaching for a weapon or a cell phone to call the police with, or worst of all, get a picture or video of the famous Nico D'Angelo spilling his emotional guts. The tabloids would eat that up. Instead, he pulled out a worn leather wallet and slipped a thin card into Nico's surprised hands. Next time, just come during office hours. Nico held onto the card tightly. Even after Jules Albert dropped Will Solace back off at the parking lot, picked him up at? Kidnapping was such a harsh word, and Will was a man, not a kid at all. Nico ran his fingernail over the raised ink text on the business card and quickly, without risking too much thought, programmed the number into his phone under a false name. He quickly burned the card soon after. The evidence was too risky to enter into the D'Angelo manor. Nico sighed as the car approached his living space. The black looming columns seemed to lean in and suffocate him. The steel door, with numerous different locks, encryptions, and code words, wasn't welcoming at all, and seemed to be only serve as a reminder of how trapped he was under his father's roof. The final dark colour was a harsh, stark contrast in comparison to the blue in Will Solace's eyes. After the long events that was getting into the manor, he dragged his feet across the carpet, exhaustion hitting him all at once. It was then he stopped in his tracks at the glowing light curling out from under Hazel's door. He swallowed and promised his exhaustion relief at another time, before curling a fist and gently knocking on his sister's door. She answered a few moments later, surprised with the phone clenched in her right hand. Her hair was in wild ringlets, and a stark stench of nail polish pushed out of the room like rough waves. Hey Hazel, can we talk? Thanks guys for listening. That was chapter 1 of And How Does That Make You Feel by Rosyredlipstick. Make sure to head on to AO3 and give them so many kudos and comment. Thank you for listening, and I hope to see you next chapter.